Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
What to do with Russian war criminals? Never stop hunting them. April 5, 2022, 4:17 p.m. Save login, register or subscribe to save articles for later. Share normal text size, larger text size, very large text size 9. View all comments in the past 24 hours. President Zelensky visited the township of Bucha. Surrounded by a cordon of security, he had come to witness firsthand the handiwork of the Russian butchers who had recently turned this quiet corner of Ukraine into a 21st-century killing ground. He said afterwards that this breaks the heart of every Ukrainian. It breaks my heart. Russia has launched a full counter-offensive to discredit the reports of journalists and the Ukrainian government. Over the weekend, the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs sought to debunk the Bucha massacre. Its statement on April 4 noted that all the photos and videos published by the Kiev regime in Bucha are just another provocation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky examines the site of a recent battle in Bucha. Credit, Efrem Mukatsky's satellite images tell the true story. Be assured, these are not the actions of a few bad apples. It is the outcome of a systemic, command-initiated program to terrorize Ukrainians, as Russia did with Syrians and Chechens before, into political accommodations. And it is the inevitable outcome of the brutal targeting of Ukrainian cities by Russian commanders. Russian military leaders have permitted a culture of indiscriminate killing to flourish. They must bear full responsibility for the killings at Bucha and other cities and towns across Ukraine. What happens now? The Ukrainian president has already directed work to begin on identifying and prosecuting the perpetrators of these crimes. In a speech on April 3, he stated that, "I approved a decision to create a special mechanism of justice in Ukraine for the investigation and judicial examination of every crime of the occupiers on the territory of our state." However, the Ukrainians will also need international assistance in collecting evidence, identifying the perpetrators and bringing them to justice. We can look to history for a guide in how to help Ukraine deal with these crimes. After the Second World War, ad hoc international military tribunals were established in Nuremberg and Tokyo to prosecute German and Japanese leaders. In the wake of the dissolution of Yugoslavia in the 1990s, the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia was convened by the United Nations. Its mandate was to prosecute serious crimes committed during the Yugoslav wars, and to try those accused of such crimes. Over 160 people were indicted by this tribunal. The court issued its final judgment in 2017, after which the institution formally ceased to exist on December 31, 2017. In 1998, the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court was adopted by 60 nations. The court has a mandate to investigate and, where warranted, try individuals charged with the gravest crimes of concern to the international community: genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity and the crime of aggression. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan has already announced he has opened an investigation into alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity in Ukraine, but, given the number of potential perpetrators, this international tribunal may need to be supplemented by action at the national level. Perhaps the model that Ukraine will look to is Israel. In 1950, it passed its Nazis and Nazi collaborators punishment law of 1950 inches. This law has been used to try Nazis, including in the well-known trial of Adolf Eichmann. Ukraine might pursue a two-track pathway to seeking justice for the victims of Russian aggression, using a combination of these national and international mechanisms. This justice must not only be for those responsible for the murder of civilians in places such as Bucha. Ukraine and the international community must seek out the entire Russian military chains of command that ordered the deliberate targeting of cities and their inhabitants. And, because it is apparent that many of these atrocities have a basis in the edicts of President Putin, he and his advisers must also be brought to justice. There will be an important, overriding principle that must be applied in achieving justice. It is what Israel has done hunting Nazis. It is an approach the international community must now adopt to bring Russian politicians and military leaders to justice. Never stop hunting them. The Russians who are responsible for this disastrous war must know that they will never be allowed to get away with their crimes. They must understand that regardless of where they go or what they do from here on, they will be hunted down and brought to justice, even if this takes decades. And Western nations must provide the necessary resources over the coming decades to the ICC, Ukraine and other legitimate institutions to ensure that